Hi, this is Frank Rodriguez Villela, and I want to welcome everybody to our third class in So You Think You Want to Play Guitar. Right now, I'm basically going to do sort of, not a repeat, but still working with open strings on guitar. That's what I feel strong about, that once we get that worked out, then everything's a lot easier, especially for combining both. First, we start with the right. I wanted to first say that I'm using a strap this time, which is very comfortable. For me, it's comfortable. I like having the strap. I like the positioning. If you can do this and your guitar is not too heavy or not too awkward and big, it's nice to have it. You can still use your footrest. I like the strap. Doesn't take very long or very long. Yeah, it's not a very hard procedure to do. It's a strap button here and a strap button at the end of the guitar, sort of on the lower bow, behind on the side. I just love using straps. These are Soldier straps. Shout out to Jen and Soldier. I really love their straps. So just pick a strap that you like, color or whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as it's comfortable. That's the main thing. All right, so we're gonna do open strings, and I'm gonna use the pick. I'm gonna do this with a pick, and then if you plan to do it without a pick, then you can choose whatever stroke you want to. I want to say you want to use P. You can use P for the P for the thumb, and then index. So P, and then you can go with the half notes P, I, and then P, I, P, I, P, I. So basically, that's the stroke, or you can use if you want to use your fingers. If you want to use just the index and middle, so it's index and then middle. So you're basically doing index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. Or you can just say I am, I am, I am. So we'll do it with pick right now. We'll do it once through. You choose what's best for you. I'm going to use a pick just because I think it's a little easier on this guitar for me. So let's do. We'll start the open strings. We're using, basically we're gonna do all the note values, all four of them for right now. Whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, and eighth notes. The eighth notes are the only ones, if you're using a pick, where you're gonna go down, up, down, up, down, up. Obviously, on this one, we're using 4/4 time, and 4 top number means the amount of beats. The 4 on the bottom means the kind of note that gets that beat. In this case, it's quarter notes. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and that's going to be the tempo. That's going to be the actual time signature for this whole exercise. I'm going to use a metronome. I'm using 70 beats per minute, so we're going to basically use a metronome. This one has a beep that's sort of interesting, where you have the high beat. This is 1, 2, 3. So you hear the high one. That's your 1. So we'll start there. 1, 2, 6 string whole note, 2, now the half note, 1, 2, quarter notes, 1, 8 notes, 1 and 2, now 5th string, 2, and you remember I'm resting on the string below, 1, 2, quarter, 1, the half note, 1, 2, quarter, 1, 2, 8 notes, 1 and 2 and 3, 3rd string, 2, now the half note, 1, 2, 3, quarter, 1, 2, 8 note, 1 and 2 and 3, 2nd string, 2, now the half note, 1, 2, quarter, 1, 1 and 2 and 3, 1st string, 2, now the half note, 1, 2, quarter, 1, 2, 8th note, 1 and 2. Let's go back to the 2nd string, 2, now the half note, 1, 2, 3, quarter, 1, 2, 8th note, 1 and 2 and 3, and 3rd string, half note, 1, 2, quarter, 8, 1 and 2 and 5th string, 2, now the half note, 1, 2, 3, quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 6, 2, now the half note, 1, 2, 3, quarter, 1, 2, 3, 8 notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. So you hear that beat that after I did the stop, it was the beat 1, which is sort of neat. That sort of lets you know you're in time. Again, I'm going to do it with with just a quick little example, and I'm going to use the first string. This just so you can use the fingers. This is probably the easier move instead of PI. I'm going to do index and middle. So I'm going to start on the first one. So I'm going to go 1. I'm sorry, like 1, 2, just so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now again, index 1. Now with the middle. I am. Now next string. 2. Now the half notes. 1, 2. Quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and stop. Now this one is, I'm just showing you just the example. If you wanted to use the thumb and index, it looks like this. 2, ready. Now I'm gonna go just random. I'm using the 3rd string. It's gonna go 1, 2, ready. There is 2. Now the half note. 2. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Stop. Okay, and that's just an example if you want to use those fingerings, and that way you can do the whole exercise. I use the pick. You can use one of those particular fingerings if you want to. Later on, I'll go ahead and demonstrate other things where I just use nothing but fingers playing. Here I am actually using, I'm doing the same thing. Let me cut this off for a second. I'm actually gonna do still using 4/4 time, but now instead of doing all note values, I'm just gonna do basically 2 note values, quarter note and 8 notes. I feel they're probably the more demanding. Quarter notes have to be on that beat, so they have to be very straight, very deliberate. This is like when you hear people, like when in-ear monitors on stage and doing concerts, or maybe somebody doing a particular thing where they're actually making possibly where they're making probably like overdubbing or doing things where there may be some DJs. There's always somebody sort of keeping a beat. And so in the inner monitor, especially maybe like on a performance, it wouldn't be that unusual for them to be just hearing a click track. Okay, so it'd be very close to having this too. Obviously, it would be probably a faster beats for the most part. This is just a rehearsal type tempo, so we can get these down. I'm using down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So this is the alternating. Also, I wanted to explain that I'm trying to do a format that people use, especially if they're writing music out and they want to have at least some kind of form. In this case, we have quarter notes are in the first measure, 4, and then 8 notes in the second measure. Now I want to keep that pattern. That's my rhythm pattern. But I want to, so instead of writing all the notes out again, I basically have made this little repeat sign. And basically it's like a division sign, but it means repeat. These 2 measures are the same as these 2 measures. So basically this measure is here and the 8th note measure is this one. And that's the pattern. And in music, we always end up finding patterns and things that we use for actual performance. So when we want to jot things down, it's sort of a shorthand way of doing things. And I think it's sort of cool. Definitely, it's a cool thing to use. and it just makes things easier. It's almost less to see, but it sort of gets the point across. Okay, so these are repeat signs. Okay, repeat the two measures. And we're going to use always numbers with the circle. It's going to, for the most part, indicate strings. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just the way we've done in the past. So let's do, I'm going to do the same tempo, and it's going to be basically the quarter notes. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2. Then we go to the fifth string. 2. So we're going to mark our, actually, yeah, we're marking the tempo or setting the tempo with those quarter notes. It's really a nice thing to be able to lock into. All right, here we go. 2, ready, 6 string, quarters. 1, 2, 8 notes. 1 and 2. 5th string. 2nd string, 1 and 2 and 3. 1st string, 1 and 2 and 3. 2nd string, 3rd string, 4. Stop. Okay, so you hear that beep again. That was on 1. Again, I'm gonna do it just with the fingers. Just on the, I'm just gonna do a random just so you can see the motion. So for the, if you're gonna use fingers, it's nice to alternate all of them. So I'm gonna go, basically, I'm gonna use like I am. 3rd string. Okay, now I still like this better. I like the actual thumb and index. So I'm gonna go 2, and I'm gonna go P I P I P I P I P. 2nd string. 1 and 2 and 1st string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Stop. Okay, so that's just an idea. That way you can run it with your fingers, and you can run it with the exercise that I did with the pick, and it'll sound pretty good. Be an interesting sound, texture sound, or the sound with the pick and your fingers. Okay, the last one is just the we're gonna do something that's normally, and you'll see this in when I talk about music and written music. It's one thing I used to like to do back when I lived in Los Angeles, and also here in Houston. I used to love to just write charts and write music, organize music, and it's nice to use a structure where you use standard, what I call music notation. So here we have the 8 notes, 8 notes is that first measure, but then here we have a rest. So we are actually resting for 4 beats, and the count is on the bottom. But we're not playing. We're really resting and ready, and we're just gonna wait for the next string. We'll start with the 8 notes on the 5th string. There'll be 8 notes there, and then we'll rest here. Same thing. It's a 2-beat rest, or 2-beat repeat actually. And just remember, you always rest on the 2nd measure of that. All right. So let's try it. Let's do it again, and we're still at 70 beats per minute. So now it's just going to be 8 notes. Make sure you really cut those. Some people think of it as like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Stop. And the stopping is actually me doing well, that's what's called a mute. So you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. And the muting is really where you, with the palm, you grace it to stop it from vibrating. Some people do it with the left hand. Actually, I know you can't see the left hand, but maybe you can do it here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. So you're basically resting so the note does not ring. Sometimes it's important to be able, silence is a good thing. And when the band is playing 8 notes and you got to stop on that 8th note, then it's really means gotta count and make sure we play those notes. If you want to count the 8 count, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then right after 8 you stop. Okay, here's the tempo. 6 string, 1, 2, 6 string, play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now 5th string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now 3rd, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now 2nd string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now 1st string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now back to the 2nd string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now 3rd string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now on the 4th string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now on the 5th string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now on the 6th string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Good. Okay, now what we're gonna do is, like, I don't know if you noticed that when I play the note, I'm actually doing this. And since you have a whole measure to sort of prepare, I would make sure that as I'm gonna start on the 3rd string and I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. And then get in position, get to the next string, 4th string, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now get in position, now to the 5th string. Okay, and the idea of that is that instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop, and staying there, and then trying to move to the finger or to the string at the last minute, you're already prepared. So you're actually basically preparing your actual positioning and placement before you have to strike. That way it can be a little even. Same thing if I do with the fingers. I can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now I'll go to the 2nd move, 1st finger, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. I'm sorry, I meant the index finger. And I'm in position, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. Now move over, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, stop. So that kind of stuff is that you're trying to think ahead and you're trying to plan ahead, anticipate it. Don't overthink it too much. Just make it a small little motion. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense. It's all open strings. I have the next lesson is going to be more a little bit more demanding, but it's also open strings, and it's more of a skipping type of art, or almost like doing arpeggios. But it's a very nice thing to do, just to be able to get that hand to really understand where all the strings are. So hopefully this makes sense to you. If you have any questions, any comments, make sure you let me know. Remember to do subscribe, like, and smash that bell, something like that. And so thank you so much, and hopefully this has been helpful. Thank you.